It's February, the month of love, and this month we're diving deeper into movies that explore the beautifully complex side of desire. One is a quirky twist on an office romance that provides a bold exploration of power dynamics. The second is a story of forbidden passion where love refuses to follow the rules. And the third is a magical tale that's as whimsical as it is profound. Welcome to Watch Assignment, the show where we help you in the never-ending search for what to watch. And for the Romatics, we're offering up 3 movie suggestions that are instantly available to watch this month on Tubi and Plex. I'm your curator, Mr. Streamface, and here's what we got for February 2025. Valentine's may be behind us, but we're looking to keep that romantic feeling going all month long with movies that might seem worlds apart, but are actually connected by the journey of discovering desire. The first is an offbeat office romance full of desires that don't fit the traditional mold and owning who you are, even when it feels taboo. The second is an Italian high society drama where a woman who seems to have it all is suffocating under expectations when an unexpected, all-consuming affair ignites and reveals the cost of passion and the courage it takes to follow it, no matter the consequences. The third is a surreal tale about a life-size doll coming to life and experiencing the world with childlike wonder, learning about loneliness, connection, and desire while facing the bittersweet truth that love isn't just about feeling wanted, it's about understanding your own need to love and be loved. Together, these films show us the awkward first steps of self-discovery, the reckless abandon of forbidden passion, and the eternal existential questions. These films challenge what desire looks like, feels like, and means to each of us. Our first pick is Secretary, released in 2002 and directed by Steven Shainberg. Here's a film that crumples up the cliche of office romances and throws it into the shredder. We follow Lee Holloway, played by the absolutely magnetic Maggie Gyllenhaal, who is shy, awkward, and fresh out of a mental health facility, trying to find her footing in the world. She lands a job as a secretary for the emotional repressed and enigmatic Mr. Gray, played by none other than James Spader. Their professional relationship quickly spirals into a complex and unconventional arrangement, a mix of power dynamics, vulnerability, and BDSM. But don't clutch your pearls just yet. This is not shock for the sake of shock. It's tender, darkly comedic, and quite romantic in its own way. What makes Secretary special is that it's not just about kink, it's about connection. It's about finding someone who sees you, truly sees you, and accepts every part of you, even the messy, complicated bits you're afraid to show. When we first meet Lee, played perfectly by Maggie Gyllenhaal, she's unsure of herself, carrying the weight of emotional struggles she doesn't quite know how to express, and is timidly tippy-toeing through life, afraid to make much noise. But then she meets Mr. Gray, and suddenly the world isn't so quiet anymore. Because this isn't that other shade of gray. We have the superior kinky boss named Gray here, played by the smoldering James Spader with his icy stare and voice that's somehow both soothing and vaguely menacing. The relationship kicks off with this fascinating, almost cat-and-mouse dynamic. And as their connection deepens, Lee starts realizing that what she wants matters, that her desires aren't something to be hidden or ashamed of, and we see a back-and-forth control between them. One minute, Mr. Gray's laying down the rules with his cold-clipped instructions, and the next, Lee is flipping the script, pushing boundaries, and even taking the lead. There's excellent chemistry and surprising emotional vulnerability that comes with this story, of discovering who you are, what you want, and how to ask for it with some firm communication. But don't take my word for it, let's see how Secretary is rated and reviewed. It has a 3.5 on Letterboxd with users saying, "I have a weakness for romances where both parties are disgusting awkward weirdos who enjoy absurd sex. Homegirl went on a hunger strike for days just to get James Spader to spank her again." IMDb has it at 6.9. Nice. And that's at 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. Our second pick is a lavish I Am Love, released in 2009 and directed by Luca Guadagnino. We meet Emma Ricci, a woman seemingly living the dream as the matriarch of a wealthy aristocratic family in Milan. While her life is wrapped in luxury, it's also claustrophobic, a series of expectations stitched together by tradition. She's been so consumed by her role that she's forgotten who she really is, until 2 things happen. Her daughter Betta embraces her own identity with fierce honesty, inspiring Emma to question the life she's been living. And then she meets Antonio, a young chef whose food doesn't just nourish her, it awakens her, with a meal that tastes like freedom. It's like a spark catching fire, starting small as tensions simmer quietly until it can't be constrained anymore. Her affair with Antonio isn't just about romance, it's about reclaiming herself. She sheds the layers of who she's supposed to be and steps boldly into who she wants to be. Luca Guadagnino is known for telling passionate stories, and this film is like falling headfirst into a luxurious daydream that you know is going to break your heart. Here it's all about the subtlety in the storytelling and building to emotional crescendos. The cinematography is lush in how it captures vibrant colors and rich earth tones, with the camera lingering on close-ups pulling us right into Emma's journey. And it perfectly depicts how the cold, rigid opulence of her life in Milan is contrasted by the wild, sun-soaked landscapes of her affair. And Tilda Swinton is at the center of it all, not just giving us her usual ethereal brilliance, but she's speaking fluent Italian and Russian. She's mesmerizing as she transforms from a restrained, poised woman into someone bursting with raw, unapologetic emotion. It's a journey of defiance, secret rebellion, consequences, and ultimately freedom. But don't take my word for it, let's see how I Am Love is rated and reviewed. It has a 3.8 on Letterboxd with users saying, Bronze that make you come and question your passionless prison of a marriage. Tilda definitely gives one of my all-time fave performances in this. Luca's direction better than Mother Teresa. Hot People in Italy is my favorite genre. IMDb has it at a 7, and it's at 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. Our final pick is the wonderfully odd Air Doll, also from 2009, and directed by Hirokazu Koreeda. Our story begins with Nozomi, an inflatable doll that magically comes to life. She wakes up one day with a heartbeat, a sense of wonder, and an overwhelming curiosity about the world around her. She's experiencing everything for the first time, discovering life, but with the fragile vulnerability of someone who knows they were never meant to exist in this way. At first, she believes her sole purpose is to please her owner, to be a silent, perfect companion designed only to fulfill someone else's needs. But as she steps out into the sprawling city, she begins to ask questions that she was never meant to ask, about what she wants, what it means to love, and to be loved in return. She gets employed at a video rental store, if you remember those, and she falls for a video clerk who fills the empty spaces. Quite literally. This film is interesting in how it flips the born sexy yesterday trope. The trope where an innocent, naive woman magically appears, usually existing to teach a man about love while having no real agency of her own. But instead of being a blank slate for others to project onto, Nozomi slowly realizes her own desires. That she's not just a vessel for someone else's affection, she has her own hopes, dreams, and the very human need to feel seen, to be more than just an object. It's both heartwarming and heartbreaking to watch her navigate this realization, especially as she experiences the bittersweet contradictions of human connection. How love can be tender and cruel, fulfilling and hollow all at once. She may be made of plastic, but her emotions are painfully real. As she wanders the city, she observes the small, quiet struggles of people around her. Despite the city's noise and movement, there's an underlying emptiness that Nozomi feels. It's a beautiful, bittersweet reflection on how you can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. This movie masterfully balances whimsy with a melancholy that runs through this film like a background noise you don't notice until suddenly you're drowning in it. But amidst the sadness, there's surprising emotional impacts that hit you when you least expect it. And it's in small, tender moments where the film reminds us that even in our most hollow, vulnerable moments, there's beauty in simply existing. But don't take my word for it, let's see how Air Doll is rated and reviewed. It has a 3.7 on Letterboxd with users saying, "What it has done for adults what Toy Story did for kids. A movie about a melancholy sex doll who loves movies? Finally the representation I deserve." IMDb rated it at a 6.9, nice. And Rotten Tomatoes only has it at 66%. So you have your watch assignment for the month. The links for watching these films on Tubi and Plex are in the description below, so you have no excuse not to check them out. Unless you're watching this video at a later date, and then who knows if they're still available. After you finish your assignment, or if you've already seen these films, leave a comment below with your thoughts or ratings of the movies, and consider subscribing to see what free picks we'll have next month. Until then, happy streaming!